Hi everyone! Today I want to share a deeply personal story, one I know many of you will relate to. It's about chasing your dreams, and what happens when the people closest to you don't believe in them. I'm 24 years old, and right now, I'm stuck in a place I never thought I'd be, feeling like I'm fighting against my own family just to live the life I've always dreamed of. Ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with animation and storytelling. While other kids were watching cartoons, I was studying them, pausing scenes to examine the art, sketching characters in my notebooks, making stop-motion videos. On my phone. I taught myself Photoshop at 13, and by 15 I was creating simple animations. By the time I turned 17, I knew with every part of me I wanted to work in animation professionally. But that's when the pushback began. My parents, who both have very traditional careers, my dad's an engineer, my mom's an accountant, didn't take it seriously. They always told me creative jobs were just hobbies, not something to build a future on. When I said I wanted to go to art school, they practically staged an intervention. They begged me to choose a STEM field. They even offered to fully fund my tuition as long as I gave up on my dream. But I didn't. I got accepted into a well-known arts university on a scholarship. I'd been supporting myself with part-time jobs and freelance work. Now I'm in my third year, exhausted, but more inspired than ever. A few months ago, I landed a remote internship with a small indie animation studio. It was unpaid, but the experience? Invaluable. I got to work on real projects, meet real animators, and contribute in ways I never thought possible. It reminded me why I started this journey in the first place. But when I told my family about it, they acted like I'd joined a cult. My mom asked, "So now you're working for free?" My dad said I was wasting time that could be used preparing for a real career. Even my older brother, who usually supports me, asked, "But what's your backup plan?" It all came to a breaking point during a family dinner. I hadn't seen them in weeks because of how busy I'd been. School, internship, freelance commissions. When I finally came over, they asked why I'd been so distant. I explained everything. I told them I was building a portfolio so I could apply to animation studios after graduation. That's when my dad slammed his fork down and said, "You need to grow up. Cartoons aren't a career." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I tried to explain that animation is a billion-dollar industry. That it's not just kids' shows, but movies, games, advertising, visual effects, but they weren't listening. My mom said, "You'll never make a living doodling." My dad added, "We didn't raise you to waste your life on fantasies." I left that night in tears. Since then, they've been calling me almost daily, not to ask how I'm doing, but to convince me to apply to business school or a coding bootcamp. They even offered to pay if I agreed to get serious and change direction. I turned them down, but it hurt. It's like they think my worth is tied to a job title and a paycheck, not my happiness. Worse, they've started telling extended family that I've gone off the rails and might drop out. My aunt called last week asking if I needed help finding a real job. I've never felt more alone. No one sees the late nights, the hours of practice, the silent wins. No one sees the tears I cry when I doubt myself, or the joy I feel when something I create finally comes to life. Last week, after another heated phone call with my dad, I almost applied to grad school just to make it all stop, but then something incredible happened. The animation studio where I interned reached out. They want to bring me on as a paid junior freelancer for their next project. It's not a full-time job yet, but it's real. And it's mine. When I saw that email, I cried. Not just out of happiness, but relief because it reminded me that I'm not crazy for believing in this path. I don't know what the future holds. I'm scared, I'm tired, I'm broke. But I'm also sure of one thing. I was born to tell stories through art. So if you're watching this and your dreams feel too big, if the people around you don't get it, please remember this. Your dream is valid. And just because your family can't see the vision doesn't mean you stop painting it. This is my journey. And I'm not giving up.